really being encouraged to lean into life. And this year you've got the Tower card, right? So truthfully speaking, I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, like what does this mean? It means that this year you are upsetting the apple cart. It means that the greatest area, and it's not even specifically an area of life, this is basically saying that this year you have to switch it up. This year you've got to get busy creating waves, making change, right? That is how you're going to win this year. The Tower card is a disruptive energy. It can be catastrophic energy. But truthfully speaking, the message behind this is not to be a sitting duck this year. What do I mean by that? If you know that the energy of the year itself is going to be volatile for you, excuse me, then the message is to start creating change yourself. Don't be like, this is the year you become a moving target, right? Travel, change things up, switch it up, change your look, change your diet, go out, visit different places, travel to places that you've never been before, interact with different types of people, cook different things from different continents. You see what I'm saying? This year you're being encouraged, like the way that you will get most out of life, the best thing for you to lean into at this moment in time is change. Doing something completely different that's completely outside of the realm or the norm of what you usually do. That's what you're being invited to consider over the course of this year, right? So don't panic when you see the Tower as the actions cards. Now, that being said, don't just completely go and be like totally reckless. Have some method to your madness, right? Make sure that you are strategic in what you're trying to do, because the Tower card always wants to, in the end, what the Tower card is trying to do is liberate you from the lies in your life. So this year, it's really about overhauling everything and going in and doing things completely different. So this year, your first card out is the Hermit card, right? This is actually fantastic for you. And the reason I love this so much is because the Virgo tarot card of the major arcana is the Hermit. So this is you, right? So this basically says, and it makes sense, especially when you think that this year the eclipse cycle is bouncing back and forth through your sign and the sign of Pisces. So over the course of this year, you are going to be your main focus. And if that means that you have to pull away from the world, maybe it's a little bit quieter, maybe it's not as big or as dynamic in terms of like your out there or worldly affairs, that's okay, right? That's fine. In fact, that's really how you want it. While you're going through the eclipse cycle, you are changing. You are being refreshed. You're being renewed in some way, shape or form. Now, obviously, the South Node is the node of the moon that's in your sign over the course of this year. So this is really about what you want to eliminate from your life over the course of 2025 and into 2026. Now, the fact that you've got the Hermit card means that this year, not only are you focused more on yourself, where you want to go, how you want to grow, who you want to become, who you want the world really to know you as, is what's really being highlighted here for you. Now, that being said, when it comes to the Hermit card, it is a card of withdrawal from the world. So January might be a slower or a quieter month in some way, shape or form. It's also very possible that, over the course of January and over this year, you go into what I would call like a little bit of a cocoon so that you can go into the chrysalis, right? This is about refreshing and renewing who you are at those deeper levels so that you can recreate yourself in some way. Remember with the Hermit card, if you've been with me long enough as well, you will have heard me say the Hermit shows up when the High Priestess or your intuition has a message for you. So I would use January, especially because it is going to be a much slower start to the year for all of us in some regard. I would use January as a time to really go inward, to reflect and to listen to what your intuitive or psychic self is actually trying to say to you. So you're going to get one destiny card, one direction card for each month of the year, and you have this with the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is a fresh start. It's a new beginning of some sort, but it's a fresh start in the mind, right? This is also where we make hard decisions. Now, This can show up as an interview, it can show up as paperwork, some kind of legal document. The Ace of Swords is usually where we make a swift or a hard and fast decision. And this looks like you're really taking time or going inward in order to clarify what it is that you need, where it is that you're trying to go, and more importantly, what you want from your life now. Remember, the sword can be something that we use for attack or defense, but it can also be used to cut something off or out. And given the fact that you have the South Node moving through your sign, this is actually a perfect time for you to get really clear on what you want to spend the next 18 months releasing, especially because the nodes of the moon are actually going to switch into Virgo and Pisces as of the 11th of January, right? So pretty much straight out of the gate. Now, on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, as we come into February, so you'll know, right, as we come into January of 2025, you will know that Mars is retrograde, that Jupiter is retrograde, because you will feel it. It won't be that big sort of dynamic, fast-paced push for the beginning of the year that we all expect or come to realize that is there at the beginning of the year. It's going to be vastly different to that this time round, okay? So on the 4th of February, Jupiter will go direct. On the 24th of February, Mars will go direct, right? So even really throughout the month of February, it's still that much sort of slower energy of the year. Now, for this,